What is up, guys, and welcome back to a Loud and Proud podcast with me and the beautiful Jazz, aka Nihilist92, over on PooTube, and we're on episode 9. So for those of you that are wondering where was last week's podcast, we didn't have one because the beautiful Jazz was celebrating his birthday, and from what I saw, he had a good time on a boat.
He did. I did.
He did.
I had a wonderful time on a boat. You know, we went out to the Lake District. It was a surprise that was done for me by my other half, and we got out to the lake itself because the hotel was a little journey away from that. And I saw all these people going out on these boats, and I was like, I want to drive one of them. I want to.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
And lo and behold, you could just turn up, pay 30 quid. And they go, right, there you go, there's your boat. Just don't go near where the rocks are with the where it's marked. And bring it back in an hour. Like, oh, okay then. And,
Shit.
You have to reverse it out of like the dock area, and because it's floating. I kept going to put my foot to the floor to brake like a car, but there's no pedals. Right?
Yeah, how do you stop a boat?
It's a lever, but it's a lever back and forward. So like, I was trying to reverse and then like trying to steer us out, and then poof. Bang, straight into the side.
Yeah, everyone, if you didn't know it was Jazz's birthday, wish him a happy birthday it was the 3rd, wasn't it, on Sunday?
It was the 3rd, yeah.
Yes. Go wish him a happy birthday in the comments. Go over to his Instagram, show him some love. So we have a couple of topics today that we think are going to be really cool. And the first one is we're going to be discussing the whole Machine Gun Kelly and Slipknot Corey Taylor beef. So Jazz, before I take over on this one and absolutely bury that motherfucker like a tent peg, do you want to quickly just catch people up on the whole story if they're not familiar with it?
So yeah, we are talking about the feud that's kind of gone on between Machine Gun Kelly and the one and only Mr. Corey Taylor. Now I know Matt's got a few things that he wants to say about this. He wants to put out there. So where do you want to start with this thing? Because it is a can of worms.
Right. So, it may not be, it's probably obvious. I'm not really a fan of Machine Gun Kelly. There's nothing to like about the scrawny little prick. So this whole thing with Corey Taylor and Slipknot, this beef, and I watched a few videos today in preparation of this podcast, and I watched one. I think it was Loudwire. They did like a roundup of the whole kind of thing, and Machine Gun Kelly said something along the lines of about Slipknot being a bunch of dudes in their 50s wearing masks, jumping around, blah blah blah, and then it got me thinking. I was thinking, okay, bunch of dudes in their 50s wearing masks, jumping around. Pardon me. But Machine Gun Kelly is a grown-ass man that looks like a shaved chimp and has been kicked through Topshop.
How many times did you rehearse that before this podcast?
He's like a... He's like a fucking...
There's no way did that just come to you. You've been thinking about that all day.
I had that in the holster today. But like, you just look at Machine Gun Kelly, right? He's a fucking scrawny white boy that wears the most ridiculous clothes and makes him look like an absolute fuckboy. He wears more shades of nail polish than any 14-year-old girl I've ever known in my life. And I mean, hey, you want to wear nail polish, that's fine. But hey, Machine Gun Kelly, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're a grown-ass man, and you look like a 12-year-old boy. And you strut around thinking you're like the shit and all this, but at the end of the day, you failed in one genre of music, so you've had to go to another one.
Say. That's precisely what Corey said, right?
Yeah. You failed in one genre, and you've gone to another one. Obviously, it's going to fail because... it doesn't suit you. You look like a moron. I watched a video of him where he was like smashing a guitar up. And I was like, what, do you think you're cool? Do you think you're big and clever? It's like, you're a twat. Who agrees with me? Comment below if you agree.
As far as legacy and professionalism and talent goes, there's just, I understand it when like other artists kind of have... a back and forth because usually the artists that do, they've been around the block a little bit. They've been doing it for a long time. Or they sort of like maybe even like grew up together in that sort of way, and there's that kind of competition. They just don't fucking like each other. Or there's a good cause for it, like with the Fred Durst thing with Zakk Wylde. Yeah. You know, record label said to Zakk, oh, you need to be more like Fred Durst. And I think what they did, I don't think they realized just how sort of once you tell Zakk something, he's just like, oh no, this is what you're saying, precisely that. I think they just kind of threw that out there as a wide example. You need to hip yourself up to sell your music rather than putting fucking Stronger Than Death out. But that bred the fuck Fred Durst and all that sort of shit, you know? But, you know, Limp Bizkit, very big band and stuff like that, and at the time quite prevalent. This Machine Gun Kelly guy, he seems to have like floated around. Then all this different stuff, and now he's into like the get my words out, pop punk genre, right?
Yeah.
And it's like he's fairly new compared to Slipknot and Corey Taylor. And
yeah,
I bet you anything, and this is the part that makes me sick, I bet you anything, he probably likes Slipknot. He probably likes Corey Taylor's music. He's just doing it, trying to be big. And at this point, because he's made an idiot out of himself, rather than back down, he's gonna he's dug the hole even deeper, which is why I like how Corey handled it very professionally. Just one line is all I need to say. He just said, "Here's the email," and he sent screenshot proof of him saying, "Sorry, don't think it's my jam. If you need any help, let me know. But thank you for the opportunity." Yeah. And he hashtagged it receipts.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there it is. And it's just so silly. And I like the way everybody's kind of gone after him for it.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, right? You got to think the success of Slipknot and what they've done, how long they've been going. And then Machine Gun Kelly, who just like popped out of nowhere. Like, it's like it's just something that some old dude shat out in a public toilet, and it kind of grew cells and turned into Machine Gun Kelly. And I like the fact that he got booed at that show.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
And everyone was just fucking flipping him off. And there was one part I think I saw, he went down between the stage and the crowd, and he was singing. Some guy came up to him and just like nudged him, and he started like throwing punches.
Oh man, what an idiot.
And like, I don't get what his end game is here. Like,
he's a rebel without a cause in a way, isn't he? And it's not like he's doing something that's cool, or, you know, it's just like, for instance, I don't know. There's certain people who have called other bands out before, and I'm not saying that you should, but there's certain people who have taken the rock and roll badass rebelry to a whole different height. And because they are at the pinnacle of it, it's like, well, I don't agree with what they've said, but I'm not going to argue with them. This is just this fucking kid who's picking on what, in my opinion, is like true greatness. You will not find a better bunch of musicians. You will not find a better singer. Well, you might, but, you know, like high caliber of singer than Corey Taylor, you know, and the musicianship that's in that band. And then the fact that band can be through how many members now and still carry on and still sound like Slipknot and be in their 50s and still put on a fucking show. Yeah. And it's maybe it's not quite the same madness that was going on back in the day. But like, for instance, you go watch it when they play at the end of Vermilion, Corey is still throwing himself around on stage. Jim Root has had neck surgery to have everything put in line. You go watch, he's headbanging the fuck out of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like they've not let up. They've not become a novelty item. They're still prevalent. They're still interested, and people still enjoy listening to their music, you know?
I totally agree, mate. But like, it just really got to me that the fact he was digging on these guys for wearing these masks, which, by the way, are like cool fucking masks, right? It's a cool stage presence.
It's theatricality.
And then you look at what Machine Gun Welly.
That could be like a tribute.
Yeah. Then you look at what Machine Gun Kelly wears, like on the daily, and all the photos you get of him. Like, he just looks like a moron, and he's a grown-ass man. Stop dressing like a 12-year-old girl. You know when, like, you say to you got a little kid, and you're like, oh, you can wear whatever you want to school, and they put like one big red cowboy boot on, one black Converse, they got a pink tutu, a cowboy hat. That's what he looks like. I can only imagine his decisions in the morning.
Yeah,
he opens up his cupboard and he's just got fucking the worst fucking it's like I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yes, I know precisely what to wear.
I'll have one of everything.
Yeah, one of everything.
Like this segment's probably going to be short and sweet, but he's just a fucking twat. Like
it's like a chip on the shoulder as well, and that's what I don't get. I just don't get this whole angry screaming at the world. Does he feel like he's that unheard in his music, and he's not getting the message that he wants across through his music, that he needs to back it up with some sort of outlandish, media polarizing statements,
Yeah, I think that's probably all it is. He's just trying to fuck it. It's a pissing contest, isn't it? Let us know down below your thoughts on Machine Gun Kelly, Corey Taylor beef, and your thoughts on Machine Gun Kelly, that little fucking ratty bitch. Fuck that guy. We thought we'd get that out there because it's quite a big thing at the minute. And so let us know your thoughts down below. So now moving on to topic number 2, Jazz, do you want to bring him in on this one?
Yeah, so Ozzy Osbourne's bringing out a new album, and the producer has made a statement that there's going to be some guests on there. Now, obviously, we had some guests on the last one, but this time it really got me excited. So starting out, he's got guys like Jeff Beck, who can hold his own. Then you've got Eric Clapton, who is obviously Eric Clapton. He has arthritis now, though. Really sad. That's really grim. What a bitter end. Do you know what I mean, though? What a bitter end. That is a guitar player's worst nightmare.
Yep.
But then the part that got me excited was when he said Zakk Wylde's going to be on there. And then the part that nearly made me cry.
When he says cry, he means come in pants.
He said Lord Tony Iommi is going to be on that, which got me massively excited. The Riff Lord himself.
Yeah. I mean, that's he's had a few guest appearances, like Ordinary Man that he done. Slash was doing the fiddle on that, the solo, which was cool, and obviously had Elton John singing, which was just fucking amazing. Like that just works so well. But having this, I think it's exciting for a new Ozzy album always. And I think having a bunch of different guitarists, and it's definitely gonna bring us something a little spicy to the pot, right?
I think the most important thing is that it's guitarists that he's affiliated with.
Yeah.
But the only one thing that was the sort of the downer in the interview is because the producer writes everything, and he was saying that we basically write the song, hand it off to the artist, and then they play what we give them. So it kind of sucks in a way. I know things aren't straightforward anymore. You can't just call people out and say, hey, man, let's write a fucking song. It's not like the old days where Oz had his team, Blasco and Zach, in the studio there. And maybe obviously on the road, but as far as the writing goes, it's a different ball game. He just goes in with the producer and knocks everything out. But I wish it was the case that you could just fly all these individual artists out and just knock a song out and then do the next one.
Yeah.
True collaboration rather than saying to Zakk Wylde, here's the riff, play it.
Yeah.
And the same for Iommi, who has, he struggles for no material when it comes to riffs. So let him do it,
I think that, I mean, I get it, like it's Ozzy, he's the man, but I think that approach to it all, it takes away from the artist, from the musician, because it's like, well, I can play it my way, but this isn't my work, and I think that's, what's the word? Like a little bit impersonal, but I don't think that's the right saying. But I think it definitely takes away from that legitimateness of what it is, because it'll be, Tony Iommi, who's like the riff god, playing a riff that he's given when he could come up with something that's like 100 times better. Like, I don't understand. I think that's a terrible way to go about the whole thing.
That Last Oz record, I just couldn't get into it because it's not his team, and I like No Rest for the Wicked, No More Tears is one of my favorite albums ever, Hellraiser and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I miss that sound. I miss Zach's guitar.
Yeah.
Over Ozzy's singing. Now, I know the reason him and Zach don't work together anymore is because I said I don't want to be the lead singer of Black Label. Because, around Black Rain, the music started getting very similar to Black Label.
Yeah.
But if you go back to, like, No Rest for the Wicked, or if you go back to No More Tours, the riffs, the style of guitar playing is nothing like Black Label. Those songs are not like Black Label in the fucking slightest.
No.
Yeah. And maybe I've always had this hope that they could bring that sort of a feel back, you know?
That would be cool.
But it ain't going to happen.
So, all right, here's a question. I'm gonna touch on something I was chatting to my girlfriend about with Ozzy. So the first thing, Jazz, do you think at this point in time, with this whole new way of making songs with Oz, do you reckon it's just Ozzy and company going through the motions just to keep Ozzy putting stuff out? Do you reckon? Just like, because it's not, it doesn't feel like Ozzy's like, oh yeah, let's make an album. It's kind of like, oh, you have to do this. Here's some songs.
No, I think he wants to make music 100% because he can't tour and he loves touring, right? He can't do that. And Sabbath's not a thing anymore. I think that he wants to, because let's face it, the reason why Sabbath started to sort of slow down was Tony's health.
Yeah.
Right? Oz would have kept going until, well, you know, we had all those tours booked.
Yeah.
You know, that with Judas Priest. But I think the thing that slowed it down was Tony Iommi's health, and, you know, that sucks. And then Bill Ward playing up like he did, that sort of slowed it down as well, massively. And you know what? If he'd have just lost his fucking ego, that 13 tour could have been... Anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
I think he genuinely wants to put stuff out, but I think he's got really comfortable with this producer. And he'll just go in and the producer will go, right, hey, Oz, we wrote the song for you. We think you're really going to like it. And he's just like, right, sing over that. And then they'll double track his vocals. Yeah. And the focal point is Oz's vocals. The music's quite coincidental to Ozzy's very direct, wide pan, double track vocals, you know? And that's the reason why I couldn't get into the last album, because I didn't enjoy listening to Oz singing over a guitar player that I didn't really care for. Yeah. The reason why I love listening to Sabbath and Oz, it's just like, it's the concoction.
Yeah.
Yeah, of like Tony's riffs, Ozzy's vocals, Geezer's bass.
Yeah.
Or coming forward into you know, Ozzy Osbourne era. You know, Zakk Wylde and Oz doing their thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was always something special.
Part of it.
When Zach was with Ozzy, there was always something special.
Very special.
I think with them as like their relationship, because obviously they're like really close. You know, Zach's got huge respect for Ozzy and vice versa. But I think it also really came through in the music. And when you saw them on stage as well, they had that connection. But on the album,
and I think it really...
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I cut you off there, man.
Yeah, no, go on.
No, go on.
No, go on.
Okay. Oh, good old nihilist. Can't get a fucking word in sideways. No, it's just like, for instance, the Scream era. Good songs. Gus G didn't write any of them. I felt it on that album.
Yeah.
You know, there was just that album was just weird. The only way I can explain that album, you'll either get this or you won't. It's really cold sounding. It makes me feel cold. There's no warmth. There's no love in it. It's really cold and sterile. I can't explain it. It's, I don't know.
I think I'm just trying to like play some of the songs in my head now, and I think I get what you mean.
It's the only word I can use is cold. It just makes me feel cold, and it's, I don't know. I can't quite explain it, but there's just Gus went in. He did a slamming job as always. You know, he's a kick-ass guitar player, and I know they were kind of trying to go for you know, keep the tradition in our era.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like they've had these renowned guitar players, Brad Gillis, Jakey Lee, you know, obviously Randy Rhoads before all that, but you know, coming forward, then Zakk Wylde coming in, and then Gus G, like kind of like another young at the time,
yeah,
guy, but who played in a completely different style, You know, and they made a thing of that by the first track, which was an instrumental that went into the first single song, I think.
Yeah.
The first track was an instrumental, and it came in, and then you had like Gus G playing all these crazy modal licks. So it was like, ooh, there's a different guitar player.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't the fucking same.
No. Yeah, I totally get it. There is that kind of little something missing from the last Ozzy album, and probably from this next one, in the fact that, you know, it's not like, oh, well, we're doing this song. Oh, Zach, we want you on this song. Give us some ideas and let Zach come up with his own kind of, you know, take himself back to the old Ozzy days and come up with something. I think the fact that they're given something to play, like, yeah, cool, play it in your style. I think that's, it's a little bit of a kick in the teeth, I think.
It is a bit of a kick in the teeth. Can you,
like, especially with Tony Iommi? It's like, what do you think? I'm not good enough to write my own fucking riff here. What the fuck's going on? Do you know who I am?
I can't imagine going to Tony Iommi and saying, I've wrote a riff for you.
Yeah. Like,
do you know what I mean?
At the end of the day, Ozzy's Oz. Ozzy's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
Always has been, always will be, regardless of what he's doing or what he's told to do. He's built this fucking legacy that, like, you hear an Ozzy song, you know it's Ozzy. And it's about it, really. There we go. See ya! No. Yeah. Yeah. I think, anything Ozzy is good. Do you know what I've always, just before we wrap this up, one way I've always described Ozzy's music, right? Because it's not really like pigeonholed, because it's metal, but it's rock, but it's
big ballads, Elton John style ballads, John Lennon influence.
I've always just thought of Ozzy's music, I think talking more about his solo stuff, as just cool fucking music.
Yeah.
Like the Down to Earth album.
Yeah,
that's got some fucking killer riffs, like That I Never Had, that Wari, fuck, but it's just cool music.
Yeah.
And yeah, cheers to Ozzy. Get better soon. I hit the microphone.
Cheers to
Don't worry
Oz.
about it. Drink. So guys, episode 9. There we go. Loud and proud. To everyone who's stuck with us and been listening on Spotify and watching all these podcasts, you guys are fucking awesome. We love you all. Huge shout out. Follow Jazz on YouTube. Follow Jazz on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you wish. And Jazz. Well, first, let us know down below in the comments your thoughts on the topics about Machine Gun Kelly and the new Ozzy album apparently happening.
Yeah. And also, you know, what do you want to hear us talk about?
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Leave comments down below. Let us know what you want to know about, you know, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, if there's something you want to hear us rant about and hear our opinions on,
yeah,
put it down below.
Of ever so important opinions.
Yes, because you know we will never hold back.
And because you know that we're right.
Someone's going to put Miley Cyrus in the comments, I know it.
Yeah, I just know it.
So yeah, guys, I mean, huge love. All of you that watch these podcasts, it's awesome. If you want the full uncut podcast, go to Spotify. I try to trim the YouTube ones down as much as I can, so it's a little bit shorter and you get to see our faces and having a beer. I hope you're drinking along at home with us, enjoying a cold brewski. And let's wrap this bad boy up in true loud and proud fashion, Jazz. Do you want to take this one, mate?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. I hand you over to the beautiful, the amazing Nihilist92.
Oh, on that note, if you're having a rough day...
in true loud and proud fashion, if you're having a tough day...
listen to us. But what we will say is thank you so much for listening. You guys are the absolute best. And raise your glasses, rock out, be awesome, and
see ya!
See ya!